Hey y'all, I'm just making a quick video because I experienced something today, which I know is something that we all come into contact at some point or another, but I was inspired just to make a video about it. So, the premise of this video is just you have to be careful about the opinions and the viewpoints that you let get in your spirit. And what I mean by that is that all of us are led and guided ultimately by our subconscious. And so our subconscious is made up of our experiences, the conversations that we have with ourselves that, many people don't know about, our worldview, um, the schemas that we have put together based on, again, our experiences. And so a lot of times, I'm sorry y'all, my hair's all over the place. I'm about to go in the gym, I'm gonna put it up. But a lot of times people mean well, and I'm somebody that believes that innately people are good, and I try and see the best in people. And so people mean well, like when you ask people for advice, and sometimes when people give unsolicited advice, I truly believe they mean well, but at the end of the day, they can only give advice based on their own experiences and their own fears, and their mindset. So one thing that I have learned, and I try my best to be conscious of this when I'm talking to people, is that I rarely take advice from someone that is not a reflection of the person I'm trying to become. And what I mean by that is, take for instance somebody who, may be working a 9 to 5, living paycheck to paycheck, and they just accept that as being the reality of how life is. You have people that really believe that we're put here on this earth to go to school, get an education, maybe go to college and get a job that's good enough to cover the essentials in life, and we should be happy and okay with that. And I truly believe that, I say it all the time, life is meant to be experienced. I believe that life is an adventure, and that every day we should be aiming to achieve more and more than we achieved in the days prior. So using that example, I would be naive. I would stretch and call it would be stupid to go to somebody with that mindset and present your big ideas, because again, that person is only going to give you advice based on their worldview. And so if you're dreaming big and saying, you know what, I want to make $1 million a year, I want to be able to travel where I want to, when I want to, I want to drive this car, I want to be able to give back to my community, that person is probably going to look at you like you're crazy, because they don't have the understanding that you have in terms of the things that you're able to achieve in life if you just have the correct information, the correct guidance, and you put your mind to it. And that's not to talk down on people, because again, people's experiences shape their belief systems. But if you take a step back and you look at the people like Oprah, like Beyonce, what makes those people any different from us? The only thing that makes them different is that they had opportunities. But let's take it a step further and say those people may not have had those opportunities if they didn't believe that life has something else to offer them. If they were people too who said, okay, well, let me just go and get a regular job and be happy and be satisfied with that, who's to say we would even know who those people are? And I definitely believe that life will only take you where you believe that you can go. Because when you want to achieve more, you start to look for more information to help you get to those places. You start to seek the truth that lies behind your mindset, and how to become better, how to think differently. And it's not easy. And so, a lot of times when things are uncomfortable, that's when people tap out and say, you know what, oop, this is making me uncomfortable. I'm not going to I'm just gonna stay where I'm at because that's my place of comfort. And that's unfortunately where a lot of people that we encounter on a day-to-day basis, where they tend to place their efforts. And so it's very important that we surround ourselves with people that may not have the exact same vision that we have, but they are able, because they too dream big and have their own goals that they want to achieve. They are able to see, um, they're able to see the importance of dreaming big, and not giving up on your dreams, and watching the things that you allow into your life, as far as the things that we read, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to. I think I've told y'all before, I don't watch the news. And my grandparents and my dad think that is the most absurd thing for somebody to not watch the news. I honestly think they feel like because I don't watch the news, I'm ignorant. But I just, at one point when I was watching news, I had really bad anxiety. I was just scared of the world, and I realized that emotion and that fear did not align with the way that I wanted to live my life. And I also believe, I mean, you can assume that when you turn on the news, yeah, it may be some good stories, but at some point in the news, they're going to talk about all the tragedy that's going on in the world. They're going to talk about who was killed, where at, how many deaths have happened up to this point in the year. And you're constantly feeding yourself, your subconscious. Even if you don't think you're being affected by it in that moment, you are currently feeding your subconscious about, certain areas, and places that are safe and not safe. And when you go out, you got to be scared of this and watch out for that. And it almost takes away from the human experience of just living life. And what I want to offer as a point of reflection, if we trust that there is a higher power that is constantly watching over us, and that has our best interests at heart, and that protects us, then why are we so fearful to live and to do the things that I believe we're put here to experience? That's always been a question I wanted to ask, like a pastor. I just don't understand how so many people go to church every Sunday and claim to be, they claim whatever religious group that they believe in, but then they still live lives full of fear. And that's another one of those, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm outside of the gym and I just got distracted. But that's another one of those emotions, or beliefs rather, that you have to be mindful of, because people will place on you their own insecurities and fears. Like we talk about, even things as small like prejudice and racism. No child is born knowing not to like somebody based on the color of their skin. They learn that from somewhere, whether it be parents or another group of individuals that they see or are around a lot. Nobody is born like prejudiced. And I believe that's the same thing with fear. Like, we are not born to be fearful. We learn over time to be fearful of certain people, certain images, certain, groups of people. And so you have to protect your goals, protect your mindset. And I think that was the major point that I was trying to make by recording this video, was saying, like, when you are connected to a higher source and you're being led by God, sometimes you just have to step out on faith on your own and not consult with the people around you, because they might not have the same relationship that you have with your higher source. Or again, they are only going to want you to go as far as their comfort zone allows. For example, I told y'all in the last video that I'm moving. I have to move. It's just so clear to me that that's what I'm supposed to do. And I shared that with one of my family members, and their automatic response was, I wish you would wait to move, because it's not a good time for me that you move. And they based what was best for me based off of what was best for them. And what they meant by the time isn't right was they just weren't emotionally ready to deal with me moving. And I did become frustrated in that moment. But then I had to remember again, people's desires for you a lot of times are only based on their comfort zone. And this is somebody that is scared of the world. I mean, everything is just a bad idea when it comes to stepping outside of what they have deemed as being, the safe places in the world and in our community. And then they later called me back to say that they felt like the higher power was leading them to tell me that I shouldn't move right now. But then my question was, so the lines are being crossed somewhere, because I don't want to say I've never been more sure of something, but like this has been something that I have been struggling with for a while, because I've had such a strong connection with the higher power, and knowing that he or she is telling me this is what's best for my life at the time. So again, you have to be mindful of that. And sometimes again, you have to protect what it is that God or the universe is telling you to do, because some people won't understand it. And if you don't have a strong enough connection to God to know that you won't be led astray, and that everything that happens, even if it's uncomfortable, or if it requires you to really step on faith, everything that's happening is happening for the greater good in your life, then you'll be easily distracted by other people's opinions about what you should be doing. And again, if you have a person in your life that's always, looking to give you suggestions on what you should do in your life, and if I was you, I would do this and da da da, then why haven't you done it? We all have free will. We all have the same 24 hours in our day. Look at that person's life and see if that person's life is a reflection of how you want to live your life. Because a lot of times you'll find that that's not the case. People that always have opinions about what other people should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and if I was in your shoes, this is what I do. Those are usually the people that are complacent and are not living life in the way that you want to live life. And so yeah, I was just riding down the road, and I just started thinking, and I wanted to share that with you all. Because that's been a theme that has really helped me along. And standing firm in your decisions. We have this, a lot of times we have this mentality where we feel like we have to be people pleasers, and we have to have everybody that we care about in agreement with what it is we're doing. Y'all, be assertive. If you are being led to do something, or hell, even if it's something that you just want to do. Now, I won't say be arrogant and position yourself to not ever listen to advice from anyone, because that's not smart. But pray for discernment, and have discernment, and really identify people whose advice you value, and those people that seem to give solid and unbiased advice. And also those people whose lives you wouldn't mind having yours be a reflection of. Yeah, so I'm about to head in the gym, get a workout in. I'm really doing better, starting to do better with self-care and the goals that I've set for myself. I did a lot of cleaning up today, which really felt good. Like I told you, I hadn't been feeling like myself. So just the small victory of cleaning up and starting to get stuff in order really, it felt good today. Yes, but I really appreciate you all for watching. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave it below. And I will talk to you all in the next video.